check the Gamerjai space, make sure that the live is
Yeah,
on.
we are live. So, hello everybody. Welcome to the Game On Summit, the side community event specifically catered to the US audience. I am Bowie Lau, the event organizer for the Game On Summit, and welcome you all. And together, I have Lisa Ma, the Chief Growth Officer from the Hub, and we have also four fabulous speakers, basically to bring them back to the stage live to interact with the US audience. So why don't we have a quick round of a self intro? Tell us who you are, what you do, starting with Doris.
Hello, everyone. I'm Doris Fong from Invest Hong Kong, and Invest Hong Kong is a government department that helped a lot of international business, including mainland business, to use Hong Kong as a base to develop and expand their operation and business here. I am head of the creative industries, and I look after all the GAME, gaming, arts, music, and entertainment industries here, including others creative sectors.
Thank you, Doris. And Mia?
Hey, thank you. Thank you for the invitation on Bowie. Hello guys, I am Mia from Big Crypto and also the trade partner of Well. So for Big Crypto, Big Crypto is actually a community and a research-driven social media in China. And for Well is actually an NFT asset-backed social currency. So we are mainly focused on the NFTs, DAOs, and the social token and creator economy. So yeah, that's pretty much for me. Thank you.
Thank you. And Jason?
Hey guys, I'm Jason Brink. A lot of you know me as Bitbender. I'm the president of blockchain at Gala Games, and we focus on giving players true ownership of their in-game assets and advancing the mission of making blockchain games fun to play and with some earning potential in there as well.
The play to earn is the key, that's for sure. And Prakash?
Hi, Bowie. Thanks a lot for the invitation. My name is Prakash. I'm based here in Singapore. My project's name is Engine Starter. We're primarily a launchpad that's focused on blockchain gaming as well as metaverses. And yeah, very excited to be on the panel here today and to share as much as I can. Thank you.
Thank you. Last but not least, Lisa.
Hi, Bowie. Great to be here again. So I'm joining from Silicon Valley. I work at Hub, which is a venture founded by Eric Lee, one of the co-founders of LinkedIn. Hub is about creating trusted communities based on referral networks. So when you refer great people, you earn hit reports. So that's what Hub is about. So, and I'm really happy to be part of this trusted community brought together by
Great, thank you. So we are talking about gaming, art, music, and entertainment, right? So I'm curious. I think this session is more specifically for us to get to know about you more. So what will be your passion project for this year, and how did you get into the gaming, art, music, and entertainment industry? Starting with Jason.
Sure. Oh goodness, what is my passion project for this year?
Could
That's
be S
really a
with S.
giant. What was that?
Could be with S projects.
Projects. Yeah, exactly. So at Gala, we've got. It seems like we're bringing another game or development team on board every few days right now. But I think the project that to me has resonated best is probably Spider Tanks, which is a light MOBA brawler that is blockchain backed, and it's absolutely a riot to play. And we've been actually currently right now, you can, if you have a Spider Tank, you can jump into the beta at gala.games, and it's a lot of fun. People are having a lot of fun with it. And that's been my passion project, I guess, for this year.
Then how did you get into gaming industry?
Into the gaming industry, I got into the gaming industry kind of sideways. I started out in I started out kind of in the economics and foreign aid side of blockchain. How do you use blockchain to fix some of the social economic problems that we face today? And I realized that the best way to do that, ironically, was not through all of the government initiatives to stop poverty, not through any of those sort of more standard social programs, but rather through gaming. And so when I was given the opportunity to join Gala Games by our CEO, Eric Schiermeyer, one of the co-founders of Zynga, I said, yeah, this is a fantastic idea because I love blockchain and I see blockchain gaming as the key to prosperity for potentially billions of people. And that's why I'm so heavily involved in this.
Cool. Thank you for sharing. And Mia?
We have been in the NFT industry, especially for Chinese market for a long while. So the thing that I'm passionate about NFT is actually the next step of NFTs, what we call NFT Wave 2. So as we all know that the art and collectibles actually take the majority of the whole market. So I am really excited about what's coming next. What can we do with NFTs when I holding this kind of asset, right? So there are several directions that I am really looking for. So first, the first direction is actually the metaverse. So we have focusing our attention on some of the metaverse project already, which including Sandbox, Avagachi, and also even there is like micro economic in this kind of metaverse industry, including the YGG, etc. So that's for the metaverse, and the second is more like NFT plus DeFi, which including the fractionalization and also NFT lending. We have lending on the uniquely fractional as well. So beside those two, the last part is actually NFT social. Or social-fi project, including Mirror, Path, and we are even hatching our own project in this kind of direction as well. So that's the three parts that I am really passionate about in the NFT Wave 2. So
Sounds good. But how did you get into this industry? I'm
you
curious to know.
NFT or blockchain?
Cool. Thank you. Prakash?
Sure. So I've been involved with the startup ecosystem for quite some time and started getting very active in the crypto space since 2016. And that kind of led me to do a lot of ecosystem building efforts here in Singapore, organizing events, organizing meetups. And I would say that's kind of where that led me to where I am today. But specifically in terms of gaming and blockchain gaming, I read the Infinity white paper early this year, which is the new blockchain that Engine is launching on Polkadot. Kind of knew that this was going to be very exciting next year, especially with this super corridor that they're creating for cross-chain compatibility for NFTs. And that's kind of when I got started with Engine Starter, and that's where we are here today. In terms of passion project, the two main things that I'm looking at. One was actually a social experiment. It's actually an NFT project called Lazy Lions, which I got in early in August, purely as an experiment. It was very close to the Singapore National Day, and I wanted a lion as my profile picture in Twitter. Minted it probably for about $200, and today I think that one NFT is worth about $8,000. But what was really exciting is this community that is behind each NFT. They get together a lot on Discord. They exchange a lot of ideas, and just the energy of being part of a very creative community where everyone is working together to explore ways that we can actually, collaborate and do things together is what has been my greatest value that I've taken from that project. Secondly, it's very early stages, but I'm currently working on a project to leverage, VR and possibly the metaverse to actually support kids that are terminally ill. Because in the past, people may actually visit them in the hospital, but at this point of time, they're stuck in four walls, and perhaps VR potentially could actually solve one of that, and that's something that we're working on later this year.
Thank you, Prakash. Last but not least, Doris. Please unmute yourself. Yes.
First of all, I must declare I'm not a creator. I'm not a creative person, but I look after all the creative sectors. And because Invest Hong Kong, we are really supportive of the development of NFTs and art tech. And so my passionate project, I would say, is how to do my best in facilitating the growth of these sectors. And lately, apart from supporting Bowie's wonderful and very timely Game on Summit here, we also is the proud sponsor of the Digital Art Fair, the first digital art fair in Asia that was opened in Hong Kong just on the 30th of September. Very excited because we are working on, apart from together with the art fair, is a webinar that talks about the opportunities of art tech for the creative industries. And I have invited Christie's and other agencies, creative agencies like Shadow Factory and Disguise, and also UK artist Simon Bird to talk about how the experience is in doing NFTs. And you know, Christie's has just also set a record in the NFT sale in Asia, I think reaching over 100 million Hong Kong dollars in the first NFT sale in here. So I'm going to ask them how the experience is like. And I'm also working with our other teams, the FinTech festivals that will be launched in Hong Kong in November. And we are hoping that we can do something and to do a track about NFT and what exactly is this relationship and the development here in Asia and Hong Kong. And so there's a lot in the pipeline. Very excited about it.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, it's great to have everyone here. So we also have a lot of people inside the Gamer Jive game watching this live stream right now. And I know that a lot of them are content creators, artists, musicians, and some people are relatively new to the space. And so my question is that since when the topic is talking about investing in the future of NFT, right? So what was it that you decided to invest your time in looking at NFT in the beginning? Because, you know, a lot of people like, it's very overwhelming, like to know where do I start, right? So what was it that you decided to look at this space? So shall we go with Prakash? And I like your feel free to unmute. And I like your image, by the way. At me. Yeah.
Yeah. So honestly, I think what's really exciting for us from a NFT perspective is the ability for value creation to be done, and that value creation to be transferred from one environment to another environment, whether it's a game or a metaverse. I think that's really what's exciting. I think a lot of this activity that we're seeing in terms of the profile pictures that I talked about, that's really going to define our identity in the metaverse, right? In the early days, people like to flex a Rolex or a car that they have bought to say that they have arrived. But at this point of time, it's a price NFT, and that NFT potentially will become a 3D representation of themselves in the metaverse. And I think we are very, very early in that journey. And that's really what's my excitement to kind of see how this is going to evolve. How can we make this a lot more exclusive, not just for the early adopters, but how can we make this, very inclusive? Also, in a way, how it can also include people with difficulties or disabilities to make it even culturally very inclusive. And I think that's really what the post-pandemic world is going to be. And I think the metaverse will play a key role. And definitely NFTs are going to be that catalyst to bring us into the new normal.
Wow. I love that the call out about inclusivity. That's something I think that's important to note here. So what about Mia? What about you? What made you decide to invest your energy and time in NFT in the very beginning?
Thank you, Lisa. So for NFTs, we are actually the first batch of the organization trying to focusing our attention on NFTs in China. So I think there's a very important thing in that Chinese government is always like pushing hard policy on blockchain and crypto, right? So NFTs is like the most the less sensitive topic in Chinese markets for the regulation and policy as well. So as I think NFTs is more like a merchandise. It's more like other than the crypto side or something like that. So for government, they think that as well. So that's why they now are not putting that kind of harsh policy on NFTs. So I think that's one of the reasons that I want to like focus my attention on this part. Policy and the regulation is always a factor that we need to pay attention as we are in China. So the second part is that actually I think NFTs for creators is more like a way to monetize their influence. So that's really cool. And for the users, they are kind of the way for them to be for I mean the skin in the game to monetize their like investment or interest or something like that. So I think for the one thing is the regulation, and the other is actually the maximum the profits both for the creators and the users.
I love that. Thank you for pointing that out. Monetizing your influence. You're right, because a lot of people's influence are being taken by the middleman right now. So that's a really great point. And the regulation, that's something I think it's good to know. I think especially this is a very global audience watching. What about Jason? What about you? What was the moment that you said I know that you're multidimensional doing lots of things. What was that moment? Like NFT.
For me, the moment that NFTs, like when I first heard about NFTs, it was CryptoKitties, right? And to be honest, I'm like, this is the stupidest thing I have ever heard of. You broke Ethereum with cartoon cats. Why did you do that? Didn't you have something better to do with it? But as time has gone on, it to me, it has elements of what both Prakash and Mia had mentioned. With Prakash, it's about identity, right? Your NFT represents who you are. Your PFP is the digital representation of yourself within the nest of metaverses in which we all interact and cooperate together. And Mia also has some elements there that are, it's about profit. It's about, ownership and being able to make something, okay, that has a tangible representation, not really tangible, a representation in the blockchain. So you can really, follow along with it. To me, though, I think what I find most interesting is that, and again, I'm from a gaming company, right? So I look at this from the perspective of NFTs as one of the most cutting edge pieces of technology out there are actually a return to the way that gaming used to be. Okay. And, years ago when you would buy a game, you'd get a box, you would get a set of discs, you'd get CDs, you'd have, the most amazing stuff that you would get in the boxes. They'd have maps and they'd have books, and you'd get a cool new RPG and you'd spread the map out on your bedroom floor and you'd look at it and you'd be like, wow, where am I going to go in the game, right? And that map was actually part of your game experience, and that has completely disappeared today with cloud-based gaming and Steam and things like that. And nothing against those. I think that they're super, super cool, and I have spent so much money on Steam games. It's not even funny. But what an NFT does is it brings that concept of ownership back. So now when you have a game, you can own stuff in that game and it's yours, and you can trade it. You can send it to a friend. You can do whatever you want with it. And I absolutely love that element of NFTs. And that's what draws me to it today, because now you can put in time in a game and get an NFT out and then go and do something with that NFT. You can collect it, you can sell it, you can trade it, whatever you want. And that's what I love about it. It's the ultimate expression of freedom in a digital world.
I love that ultimate expression of freedom. So wow, like I feel like there were so many phrases to be coined from all speakers here. Doris, what about you? What was the moment that you decided to invest your time and energy in the NFT space?
Well, I think that will trace back to last year when I started to meet with more companies telling me that they are in the NFT areas and they are.
Oh,
Yeah, we will get back to her. Yes, when
this is
she
the
when she
virtual
joins.
world that we live in.
Yeah, this is the challenge with technical difficulties.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talk about the possibility or in from the I guess investment perspective, right? But then obviously, I think she's back. Hold on a second. Let's see if she's able to continue with her answer. Yeah.
I think the fact that we're able to have this borderless conversation is great already, right? So here, back to Doris. Feel free. We're just saying.
So sorry, I try everything. My
Oh,
Wi-Fi is so bad today, and I try not using the Wi-Fi. Is still bad, but anyway, let's see what you can do. So I was saying, actually, I started to meet with many companies last year that are starting to invest in blockchain industries in film. So they are trying to develop the blockchain industries for selling NFT in film and also in music. And for myself,
How no, that hurts.
So
Yes.
something interesting about NFTs and film and music. Any of our speakers here are familiar with that? Because we have musicians actually watching right now in the audience. What is that? What does an NFT look like in music and in film?
Well, so tiny plug here. Gala Games and Gala Labs is actually working on doing a drop right now in cooperation with Frank Miller in celebration of the 30th anniversary of the release of Sin City, which, as you guys know, eventually went and became an absolutely amazing movie. And you can learn more about that at frankmiller.io. But I think that the concept of film and music and all of that in the NFT world, like you can do so many really, really cool things with that. You can own, specific clips. You can own pieces of music. You can own experiences. I love the idea of where we're currently working with somebody right now where we're using something that's kind of part of the proof of attendance protocol, and we're combining that with concerts. So it's, the NFTs become the digital equivalent of the, 1976, Stones concert T-shirt or something like that. And I think that there's so many cool things you can do in that specific vein where it all meshes together beautifully.
Oh, interesting. Well, we have Doris back. Doris, you actually started a conversation about NFTs and film. So back to you, Doris.
Oh no.
It's okay.
This is so sad.
No worries. This is how it works, right? Like I said, literally, that's how the internet is. So actually, this conversation about the application of it, I think this is a good way to introduce to our audience, right? What are some of the, besides collectibles, right? So we talked about an art. So there's gaming, right? GAME, right? Gaming, art, media, entertainment. Can we talk about each area and what is an example of NFT? So in in gaming, for instance, who wants to jump in? Or should I pick Jason because you're Gala Games?
I'm totally fine. I saw that Prakash unmuted too, so I'll let him take that one. I don't want to monopolize things here.
How about let's give Doris a chance? And then
you know what I've done? I have moved to another corner of the office where there are more routers, and hopefully the Wi-Fi will be working this time. Sorry, we were saying film, right?
No worries.
Okay, so what fascinates me was because for film, we met a client, say for example, it's called Phoenix Waters Production, and Bizan is the founder of this company, and he has been making a lot of film series, TV series here in Hong Kong, based in Hong Kong, and he recently also have have entered into the areas of NFT because he has a collaboration with Roundtables, and so he's minting not the whole film, but part of the films that has these props. So they have all these famous actors and actresses in that film, which is a sort of mystery and a detective film and TV series. So they are minting those props only, and not the whole film, and or not part of the film. So people or the fans who are those actors and actors friends, and they can just buy those props and becomes their own collectibles, which I think is also very fascinating.
Yeah, interesting. See, you led us to the discussion even as you were jumping in and out. We were just saying about the application. I think I find this fascinating, right? This is a good way for us to learn. So we think about the different type of applications NFT, right, in gaming. So for instance, Prakash, do you want to jump in?
Sure. I guess in gaming, the clearest use case or application is the ownership of certain in-game assets. It could be a sword. It could even be virtual land. And the NFT allows the owner to really prove that he actually owns that asset and be able to actually transfer the value of that asset from one hand to another hand, right? And I would say that that's kind of the base protocol that's now powering the play to earn space. And more importantly, I think the play to earn space is also enabling people to now get a secondary source of income. And that's true financial inclusion and financial liberation, where from being wherever you're based, there's an additional source of income that you can actually generate for yourself, and it's proven during the pandemic to be able to provide a livelihood for communities. And I think that's one very exciting application of NFTs in gaming. Over to you, Jason.
Feel free to unmute.
There we go. Sorry about that. Was missing my mute button there. Was off wandering around Gamer Jibe looking and seeing what's going on there. I think that when you look at NFTs in gaming and specifically the concept of play to earn, right? This is sort of the superpower that has kind of been accidentally unlocked by the NFT gaming space. It originally started out as like a this concept of I'm going to play a game and I can win something in this game and I can earn something, and that's really cool, right? But there's always this concept of like getting skin in the game, right? You have to buy something in order to play, which then led to this evolution of, okay, well, I have money to buy stuff and other people have time to play games. So how about I buy this stuff and then they play the games? But the way that this has been set up thus far is a honestly horrendous high friction system of rife with potential exploitation and a pretty fundamental loss of dignity for the people who are playing. When you're playing a game, you shouldn't have to dox yourself on social media and submit your resume to play a game. That's from a human level, that's horrid, and I hate that. So what we're working on doing, and this is what NFTs enable, is this concept of unlocking that, creating systems where people can use their NFTs, where they can lend their NFTs to others in a low friction system that allows people with time to play games to earn something, while people who have money to buy NFTs, and I talked about Spider Tanks a little bit earlier. Our Spider Tanks piloting system is one of the coolest things I've ever seen, because you can, as a tank owner. You can configure your tank the way that you want. You can put the guns on it that you want. You can put the skin on it that you want, and you put it in this tank pool. And then anyone who wants to play the game can come click in the game, free to play, and jump in and start playing. And as they play, they're able to earn tank coin and NFTs and tank parts and things like that, which get split automatically with the person who owns the tank. And it's goes directly to the people who are supposed to get it. There is no, gosh, I have to wait 2 weeks and I really hope that they decide to pay me sort of thing. It's this completely frictionless system, and that can only be done with NFTs and delegated ownership of those NFTs and something to earn while playing.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. This helps a lot in hearing these different applications of it. So what about art? For instance, like there's so many artists, right, that are out there. It's really hard to make a living, especially when they're starting out. How can they take advantage of NFTs? So Mia, do you want to take this one?
Yeah, sure. I just want to add a little about the game as well. So I think the play journey is really the key for the game, GameFi, and that's one of the reasons that we participate in the ecosystem of Yagyu Games YGG. So we have seen the growth of the top GameFi project. Oh, and also Galagans, right? And also as Infinity as well, the rising of them, and the great power and the traffic flow from YGG has bring into the ecosystem. I think that's really powerful to empower all of the so-called growing company to join in the blockchain games and industry, and those who have this kind of asset can lend out, or at least for those gamers to play with. So I think that's the optimize all of the different roles in the ecosystem. So I think that's really interesting, and that's really cool for the gaming system. And for the artists, I want to bring a little about the music and art section. So I do have some friends who is a rapper and a singer who want to join into the NFT industry. So I think there is for simply job music NFT, I think it's not cool. Basically, but there is another way to be more cool, in that we can regard this kind of music as one layer, so another people can recompose this kind of song. This will be another layer for the music. So different layers of the NFTs, like another version of the async art music platform, would be a really interesting way to do that. So I'd like to see if there is like more opportunity or more project in this kind of direction. Yeah.
Thank you for providing that lens. So I know, Doris, you were talking a lot about entertainment space before. Like, are there other more applications, like you mentioned, the props like that you're seeing? Because like this was one actually I'm kind of curious about. So like people talk about entertainment industry. Are there more people in the industry getting in the film industry?
Yeah. I've come across some startups, and they are also, in terms of film, they are also trying to develop platforms that can enable the independent filmmakers to actually just sell their films using the NFT platform. And they are also trying to create more like a community for artists, musicians, or filmmakers to use these platforms to show their films to more audience, rather than just via the cinema. And I also and seeing some interesting phenomenon, or simply because NFT is now getting its popularity, not just in the industry, in the professional field, but also in terms of ordinary people, because as long as you can get your netizens or your contacts in the internet interested in something that you do, actually a normal citizen can also sell their own NFTs in their own way. Because interestingly, I remember seeing a clip from BBC, and they were talking about a young woman called Zoe Roth. I'm not sure whether you're familiar with this disaster girl photo and image. I find it very fascinating because this disaster girl is actually a little girl being taken a photo in front of a burning house. So it's supposed to be a disaster, but she has this very strange smile in her face. It seems to be become a phenomenon in the internet, and now this girl has developed, has become a lady. She's now 21, and she sold this picture, this image using NFT, and sold it for 340 something thousand pounds, just because she has got this popularity from this very interesting image. When I saw this image in front of a burning house, I find this very intriguing as well. So that brings to another level about classic and historical photo. It's not just art, because I know from talking with SCMP Gary, the CEO of SCMP South China Morning Post in Hong Kong, they are developing an NFT standard called artifacts, so that some historical and very classic photos that you saw from newspapers or from other magazines, other channels, can also be sold in NFT. And it's not just selling their own NFT photos, but it's also creating a standard so that publishers and also other photographers can use this standard when they sell their photo. So it's actually happening in all spectrum. It's not just films or professionals in the art. It's quite an interesting phenomenon that I'm now seeing.
Wow, thanks for shining the light on those examples, because I think I love what you're saying about giving, everyone equal access, right? So you don't need a big budget Hollywood film now, right, to get this community. And if you create anything, right, you the creator can get rewarded for it. So yeah, thank you all. I would love to hand it off to Bowie. We're part tag teaming here.
Sure, thank you, Lisa. So, I'll say I really appreciate all the speakers sharing and their insight in this space. I think definitely there's a huge potential in the NFT space, especially in the gaming, art, music, and entertainment industry. So, but from your perspective, what will be the major challenge do you see in this space, and what we can do to overcome these challenges? So, I would like to hear from Jason.
Absolutely. I see two major challenges. The first major challenge is regulatory. Mia touched on it a little bit when she was talking about this, and it essentially boils down to the fact that the people who create regulations on these type of topics, generally speaking, don't fully grasp them, because how could they? Their job is to make laws. And our job is to invent stuff. And every single person on this call is moving at the speed of light in terms of innovation. And governmental systems, nobody has ever accused them of being fast. And I think that that's where a lot of the problem comes from. And I mean, I remember when I was younger seeing some similar issues when email was just starting to be used. And the postal service trying to do things like making people pay stamps for each email that they sent. And it's just this very fundamental misalignment between technology and regulation. And I do not fault regulators for doing their jobs. Their jobs are to protect people. And so the biggest challenge is how do we connect with the people, with the regulatory bodies and the people that are out there, and help them understand what we're doing and understand the positive transformative power that it has. A lot of people, if we just look at this from the perspective of blockchain, I know of quite a few regulators and various Congress people and people all over the world in government who have a tendency to look at blockchain and say, oh, well, blockchain's used for money laundering. Okay. When the reality is, and anyone who knows anything about blockchain knows that the last thing that you would ever want to launder money across is a blockchain that has a transparent public ledger that everyone can, inspect and trace. And that's something that everyone on this call knows, but they don't know. And the reason that they don't know is because we haven't been very good at communicating that effectively with them. The other major challenge is that there is a very large degree of barrier of entry to this space. In gaming, we look at this a lot, and we talk about how we used to play when we would go do LAN parties. When I was a teenager, I would go to a LAN party, and I'd take my computer and my monitor, and I'd load it in the back of my mom's car, and she'd drive me over to my friend's house, and we'd all unload our stuff. And, we had one of those banker's boxes full of like cables and switches and, keyboards and all of this stuff. And we would set up in, my friend's kitchen or something like that with like 4 computers all on the kitchen table, and we would play games, right? And it was very difficult. And you had to understand, the intricacies of, the setting up the subnet masks and the TCP IP connections and things like that. And it was a massive pain. And now it's instant. Now you play a multiplayer game and it's just like click, boom, you're in a lobby, you're playing with people, and, all of that technology is still there, but you don't have to touch it anymore because we've built systems that do it for you. This is what has to happen to get blockchain and NFTs to the next stage. Because, normally you give somebody a mnemonic phrase and a private key and they're just completely, totally lost. They don't know what to do with it, and it's scary. And that's not good. We have to fix that problem. And that's something we're working very hard at Gala to do. And I know that a lot of the rest of you are as well. But once we solve that problem, it will make things seem less scary for people. And by making them less scary for people, regulatory agencies will be less inclined to jump up and protect, the consumers, because they're not going to be getting angry letters from people that says, I lost my key and now Ethereum won't give me my money back. Make Ethereum go away. Once we fix these 2 problems, everything opens up.
Cool. I totally agree with what you said, Jason, because I think to repeat, I think for some of you who might not know, I got inspired to have to organize this Game On Summit by moderating a game panel where Jason was in that panel. That was back in June. So afterward, I put him on the side, and the more that we talk, I think we both think it is important to have a game summit focusing on gaming, art, music, and entertainment, and more importantly, to make it educational, to spread the knowledge. Because no matter what, you've got to get yourself educated in this space before you jump in to do anything. So, and for that, thank you, Jason, for all your support making this event so successful.
My pleasure.
To give some figures, right? We have almost 8,000 registrations for this summit, and the turnout, we have 5,680 attendees actually attended the summit, which was equivalent to 71% attendance rate. This is awesome. I mean, I didn't expect, got overwhelmed responses and support everywhere from the world. So really want to thank everyone for the help. But then all of you as my speakers really are the main contributor to bring in the content and the knowledge to my summit. So that's why people came and attended with such a high attendance rate. Thank you for sharing. So Doris, when Jason mentioned about the regulatory aspect, I know that you're not a regulator. However, you do work in a Hong Kong government entity, right? So what is your view, what kind of major challenge do you see in your space or from your own perspective, and what do you think we can overcome these challenges?
I think from my perspective, because Jason has touched on the regulation for me is education. Is really about educating not the creators, but also the wider public. Because of course, creators from all sectors, they want to know how they can make use of these technologies. But for the wider public, if they want to participate, if they want to invest in something starting small first, say for example, you don't have to pay $69 million for people's artwork, right? Not everybody can afford that. But even if it is something small, but can they do it with which cryptocurrency? They don't even have a crypto wallet. So what happens? And last time when I attended the Digital Art Fair Asia art fair, they are selling a lot of NFT artwork, of course. But I presume they also understand that some collectors, they are not ready to have, like say, a crypto wallet to invest in NFT, and they might not have the confidence as well because the fluctuation is so great. And the art fair itself, they've done a wonderful work in putting on all these immersive and digital art, and they also provide a channels for them just to pay cash. So and then I think they will do the back end thing and then convert it into the cryptocurrency and then help them to buy the art and then maybe help them whatever to do it to make it possible. So I guess my role in Invest Hong Kong or in maybe other colleagues as well here is to support and facilitate more meaningful discussion and very timely summits like Game On or very interesting cutting edge fair like the Digital Art Fair Asia, where they have a lot of educational activities. They will run until the October 17th, and nearly every other day they have webinars about not only NFT, it's about more wider art tech and its applications. But as I mentioned, the FinTech Festival, we are now, is not under my umbrella, but my FinTech colleagues, they are now thinking how they can also incorporate NFT. And even Jane, you know Jane, Start Me Up Festival, because we really want to encourage more startups in developing NFTs, technologies, or create to use NFTs and create whatever that they can using Hong Kong as a startup base. So in next year's Zambia Festival, we are also hoping to have more NFT elements there. So it's really education from our side that is important. With more people and organizers like yourself that can maybe do another conference in the near future, maybe Bowie, and a task for you.
I have
logo.
already submitted the application for the Start Me Up Festival, and certainly would love to have the support from Invest Hong Kong. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think
I'm
this
going
is
to be
important.
in Hong Kong for some sort of event in November, I feel like, to stop by and say hi.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, sure, yes.
Thank you. How about you, Prakash? What's your view on this?
So I think, yeah, beyond education, it's about adoption, right? We're still very, very early in the space. And I think if we all can actually encourage more people, our peers, to participate in the space or to kind of try new things, right? So one of the things that I'm doing this year for Christmas, everyone's getting an NFT, right? And perhaps using that as a means to kind of educate them on the potential. And hopefully it's an NFT that I could acquire at a low cost and helps them see the appreciation in value, and that perhaps will create more news, and they will start spreading that. So I think that's quite crucial for us to kind of take this, because if you look at the entire crypto community, the guys that are participating in NFT is still very, very small. So there's a lot more room to grow, and I think that's something that we all can play a key role in participating.
Sounds good. And last but not least, Mia?
Hi. I think the challenge for NFTs is that people are already like questioning about the problem of NFTs, like the low liquidity of NFTs, etc. So I think the NFTs back in 2017, it's kind of not sustainable because of the infrastructure is not ready yet. The network is really slow, the gas fee is really high, etc. So, but for now, the infrastructure problem is kind of relieved after the growth of layer 2 and also sanctions, right? So I think the challenge here today with NFTs is how to make it more sustainable. What can we do when I hold an NFT? So we need to like explore more use cases or scenarios for NFTs. But luckily, we have seen a lot of scenarios already, like NFT as a in-game asset in the game ecosystem. That's one way to explore that, and another is like the fraction is also another way to do that. But I think there should be more potential scenarios here. Let us to explore to make the whole NFT industry like more sustainable. I think that's a challenge for now, especially for the NFT Wave 2. We need to like think out what's exactly what we can do with NFTs. Otherwise, it will be like the old version of 2017. So I think that's what we should do with this round of NFTs.
So we have a few minutes. So we have a few minutes left, and just the last round, just to get back, on the topic about future of NFT. If you were to like look at the future, right? Let's say fast forward 20 years into the future, like what's your wish of how you would imagine this world would be, where, um, if we were to invest, what are some of the things that we may want to invest in to get to the future that we want to be? Let's say that's a better way to ask the question.
Sorry.
What are some areas that you think we should invest in to so that we get to the future where we want to be in, let's say, 20 years?
Okay, I would definitely say DAOs. I think how to say that, DeFi is more like Legos of finance. NFTs is the Legos of medias, and DAOs are the Legos of cooperatives. So I think that's definitely the next big thing after the NFTs, DAOs. So I'd like to. I have already seen the power of all of the DAOs has been participated in, no matter the investment or like yields games or etc. So I would definitely say that I love to see more potential in the DAOs.
Oh, interesting. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah. Final thoughts, right, Prakash? Like, any advice, takeaways, or where do you see the future in 20
Yeah, I think this movement that we're going, where NFTs are powering up the creators, is going to reach every industry. We're going to see fractional ownership of real estate, of large assets like yachts, and other lifestyle. So it's going to permeate into every aspect of our lives. I personally believe it's going to help empower us, and also create these additional sources of income. I think the pandemic kind of showed the world the importance that we need to have multiple sources of income, and I think that's what's really exciting for us. And I think most importantly, if we can also use this technology to impact people who are really in need of support, whether it's the low income, or whether it's people with difficulties or disabilities. We believe that this technology can kind of create this inclusiveness, and that's what I hope to see in the next decade or so.
Wow, I love that. More nuggets of gold here, right? So, what about Doris? What about you? What are some final thoughts, and like, where do you see? Where would you like to see the future in this space?
Well, I would like to see more companies and creators that are using this platform to develop their IPs or art or film or music. And I also want them to consider Hong Kong as a good base to develop these kinds of technologies or creativity, because we do have some government fundings that can help them to start, and also a lot of incubator innovation programs here. In Game On, we know Launchpad Lunar is a very good private platform to nurture all these kinds of game, JME actually industries and other sectors as well. And there are also other government fundings that can support them. So just the more the merrier.
I love this theme of inclusivity here, right? And access, global access. So, and last but not least, Jason, final thoughts, and also it sounds like you are quite a historian. So I would love to see your view on the future.
Well, you don't want me to talk about history. That's going to go all sorts of places that you don't want it to go. I think that we need to invest very heavily in education and helping people to understand at a very deep level the technology upon which all of this depends. I think that a lot of people take technology for granted a lot. And I think that if we're able to, all of us, step up, help to educate our communities, what exactly is blockchain? What exactly is, a private key? What exactly is an NFT? What makes an NFT, different from a fungible token? How do you, one of the troubles that we see on a very regular basis is scammers popping up constantly and in like vast numbers. I mean, we have a team of about 20 moderators in our Discord that literally just spend all day banning scammers. And the reason that scammers do the things that they do is because it works sometimes. People aren't educated about it enough to to not fall into the trap. And so I think that the only way that we fix some of these problems is if we, all of us, proactively work to educate our communities, to make them safer, to make it better places, to help educate the people who are making the laws so that they can make better laws surrounding this. Because I think that, there's always this sort of dystopian fantasy of blockchain is going to exist in a world without laws, and we're going to replace governments with DAOs, and it's going to be fantastic. But the reality is that's not going to happen, and there's just no world in which that happens. And this is something that I think some of the blockchain people don't like when I say, but it's the reality is that we have to learn how to work with these organizations. And if we do that and we help educate, then we smooth things out and make it better for everybody. And that's what we need to focus on, to make sure that in 20 years, the NFT is not like the Betamax, a little bit of a throwback there, or the record or something like that. We need it to last, and it depends on us educating people in order for it to do so.
Yeah, well said. Well said. I mean, this is why we're coming together, right? I would actually recommend everyone who's watching, right, go and watch all the live stream videos from Game On, right? Because that's all the pioneers talking there. I would say also trust the community. That's what Hub is about as well. So we also host a lot of different events with different leaders. And also I would say Gamer Jive as well. You can see lots of blockchain events there. So really getting access to a trusted network, right, is really important, because there's a lot of noise out there. How do you remove the noise, right? It's the keys, and who are the thought leaders, right? You wanna learn from, right? So it's really important to be tapped into a global trusted network. So yeah, with that, I thank all of our speakers here, and Bowie, of course, and Prakash, Jason, Mia, and Doris. Thank you so much, and thank you to our audience watching.
Thank you, everybody.
Shout out to Pete.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah. So as Lisa mentioned, I have uploaded all the summit sessions, keynote, panel discussion into YouTube. So feel free to look for Game On Summit account from YouTube, and they're all there in case you missed the summit. And there are lots of great sessions, keynote, so much knowledge to share from all the insightful speakers. So, but once again, thank you so much for joining us, and I look forward to have another educational session very in the near future.
Yeah. Also, I see that we still have people inside the game, so we're gonna hop over there. And also, we host a lot of we're gonna be hosting more VIP networking events. If you want to get connected in the metaverse, inside Game Jive and Hub, join us. So there are people there that want to really have a one-on-one conversation by all the speakers. So if you're free, invite everybody here to hop onto the game as well. I'm gonna jump over there after this. So thank you.
Great. Thank you.
Take
Thank you.
care.
I see you at
Thank
Gamer Jai then.
Yes,
Bye.
jump inside the game.
Yeah. Bye bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.